Hello everyone, Ranger Danger here, long time no see, and today you'll be joining me on my RBLI, the Royal British Legion Institute Charity Campout, or the Great Tommy Sleepout of 2025. The RBLI is a charity that helps fund and organise housing and education for homeless veterans of the military. Great little charity to support. So part of my challenge is I will be spending basically overnight in the woods. To make it a little bit more difficult for myself, I'll have to source my own dinner for tonight as well as my own water for cooking and drinking. Overall, yeah, looking forward to it. It's a good bit of fun. So first of all, I'd like to again thank my sponsors. I've raised £125, my target was 100. So off the top of my head, here we go. Thank you Uncle Malcolm, thank you my cousin Catherine, the brothers David, Mark, Maz and family, Lynn and Greg. Thank you Lou, thank you Callum, and thank you myself. Thank you Mum and Dad for putting up the money for this good cause. Hope I don't disappoint you. I'll be doing some video documentation of what I'm doing. However, the idea is I kind of want to enjoy it a bit more myself and not have to worry about phones and editings and things like that. I'll do what I can. If something exciting happens or something I can teach you along the way, then I'll make sure to include it in this little video that's coming up. However, yeah, it's a lovely sunny day, 18 degrees. I've just been walking about for a bit, as you can tell, a couple of sweaty strap marks. I've got to find my place that I'm going to sleep, so I'll spend a bit of time wandering around on the day, set myself up, and yeah, I'll speak to you over the day. Cheers guys, and thank you very much again for all those sponsors. So I'm going to collect a couple of sprigs of this salad burnet. And next I'm going to help myself to some wild garlic. It's starting to flower as well, that's cool. So when picking it, don't just take it all from one plant, divide the burden as it were, and that way you're not harming any singular plant to the point at which it won't recover. So it's being considerate. And since there's quite an abundance, I might pick some flower heads too, as these make very good caper-like foods, packed with all your vitamins and things, quite an intense flavour. Add a bit more crunch to what I'm eating later, which should be nice. So I've got some wild primroses here. There's a couple of little colours down there. These are edible. I probably won't be picking any of it today. Normally I'd add the leaves to a bit of a greenery, some boiled greens, but yeah, not a big fan of the flavour myself, quite peppery. However, the flowers are nice, so I'll take one of those, just the one there. I'll have a little spring nibble on that because it's all good this time of year. Everything's nice and fresh and sweet. Nom nom nom. So here we have goosegrass, or as the Americans will know them as cleavers. So this is quite a common little plant. Known for the little sticky balls that stick to your trouser legs when you're walking through them. Perfect little green herb to boil up to make some boiled greens with. This time of year they're even better because all the shoots are still quite tender. So we'll pick some of them and we'll add that to our greenery later on. Good stuff. Nice little discovery here, some wild onions, which I can add as a seasoning to my dinner later on. So I've gone ahead and picked a few. There is an onionish bulb down there, obviously being in the allium family. However, I'll leave the bulb and I'll just take some of the leaves and I can chop these up and treat them much the same as you would chives or any other kind of leafy spring onions, for example, and add them to dinner. Good stuff. Some lovely little purple dog violets, all growing on this bank. These are edible too. You can use the flowers to add sort of a garnish to a salad, make it look all pretty. Nice little sweet taste to the flowers. The leaves are edible too. However, I am right along a footpath here, so chances are these have had some sort of doggy activity occur on top of them, so we'll be leaving them. However, very nice to see, good sign of spring. So walking along, discovered another wild edible. So this is known as ground ivy. It's related to the mint plant, comes from the mentha family. You can tell because it has one of the most common characteristics of the mint family. The stem itself is actually square as opposed to rounded like most other plants. Sort of like a very light mint flavour, like herby mint flavour to it, slightly sweet. Very good as a herb for seasoning meats with. It's quite good for that. So we'll take some of that and we'll add a little bit of taste to our dinner tonight. Water everywhere, so let's all have a drink. but perhaps not. So part of the 24-hour survival challenge that I'm doing is that I'm going to source my own drinkable water. So I have the equipment I need to process it, filter it, and make it safe to drink. However, unfortunately, due to the area that I live in, it's quite a heavily industrial built-up area alongside the Thames. There's a lot of agricultural land, so one of the issues that I'll have to deal with is not just the filtration of sediment, but also such things as pesticides, chemical treatments that go into the farming lands. So obviously the main body of water that I do have is this here, the River Thames. Currently at its highest pollution level in years, so I will not be touching this at all. Full stop, not happening. So one thing I have to do now is find either a tributary or a small stream, or if I'm very, very lucky, some sort of filtered stream or a spring, which isn't really around here that I know of. So I'm gonna have to sort of look a bit harder for water. Worst case scenario, I can try tapping into a tree, but it's not so great during the warmer days. It's better to be done first thing in the morning, and it takes quite a while to get a half decent amount of water. So fingers crossed we find something that I can treat. So I found a potential viable source of water in the form of this stream behind me. I know for a fact that dogs swim in it. There's evidence on the other side. I also know for a fact that there's cow fields and farmers' fields nearby, so it's likely the water is going to be filled with lots of harmful pollutants and more than likely make me ill. However, I'll do my best to process it in the ways that I know how and make it as drinkable as possible. And with that, I will use my Millbank filter bag. I'll show you how to use that in a second. And once that's done, I'll boil the water, and just to be ultra safe, I'll put some chlorine tablets inside the water to kill off any nasty buggies. Should we do it then? So a quick explanation on how to use the Millbank filtration bag. First things first, submerge it in the water, completely saturate it, then draw it out and fill it to the very top with water. Allow the water to drain out of this corner until it reaches the black line on the bag. Once it reaches that black line, place your vessel underneath and capture the filtrated water. So the Millbank will remove out any large particulates such as dust, sand, mud, grit, dirt. However, it does not remove heavy metals, nor does it remove microorganisms such as viruses or parasites or bacteria. That will then have to be later treated when we boil the water and add our chlorine tablets. So fingers crossed we don't get sick. As you can see, we've about reached the line on the inside. We can just about make out. So what we'll do now, it's going to take a little while, but we don't need a great deal, so I don't mind waiting. Take our can and place it underneath. So that's that nearly full. Our process has taken about half an hour to fill up a 2-litre jug, which isn't too bad. And yeah, all we've got to do now, boil it and chlorine sterilisation, and it's ready to go. So a useful little tip when out and about practicing bushcraft is to know what's around you. Identify all the plants and the trees that are available to you in the area that you're in. So for example, look for things that have thermal properties, insulation properties that will make your sleep a little bit more comfortable. Things that might be edible, will give you a readily available source of food, or something that has fire making properties, so at least you'll be able to keep warm as well. Once you identify these properties, it makes staying outside a hell of a lot easier. So I've been out walking for a while now in the heat and I'm starting to dehydrate. However, that water I collected earlier and purified using the filtration bag isn't yet safe to drink. It still needs to be boiled or chlorine tablets added to it to make it safe. So what do? I need to find myself a silver birch tree. I've showed you this method before and I've no doubt you've probably seen it all over the internet, but we're going to tap the silver birch for some really crucial water. This is the birch tap after about 40 minutes. There's enough in there for a mouthful. That'll keep me going a bit longer. Ideally, you would do it in the morning when the sap's flowing and the weather's cooler. However, it's still a viable source of water should you ever need a drink. It just takes a little bit longer. Chin chin. Beautiful.